Good afternoon, guys. We're going to be joining in just a second. Just enjoy the music, and we'll be on in just a second. Good afternoon, guys, Facebook friends and family, chitter chatters and chatterbugs. Welcome to this tonight's edition of Clay Taylor Live. Just want to join everybody, and we're doing a little different format tonight. I'm doing YouTube also, so if you're having trouble getting us on Facebook, you can also go to Clay Taylor Live on YouTube and join us there. So just give us a few seconds while we're getting everybody on and people are joining us. I'm kind of trying to get everything tuned in and so I can watch and see everybody here. So if you have any questions, guys, put the comments in right below. You guys can also chat with me and interact with this whole conversation. This is an interaction live, so you can talk with me, say hi, give us your points, guys, because we got some really, really good points tonight. We're going to talk about reopening the state. And if you guys want to throw anything else in, please do so. Throw some things in. And, I see that we're still freezing. So I'm noticing over on this side. So please bear with us. We're having a lot of Facebook trouble. So if you're having a lot of trouble, join us over. And I'm trying to get that link that I can actually post it where you can join us, but I can't seem to find it. I'm new to this on YouTube, and I've been doing it on YouTube, but they got a new, I'm using the new editor that they have. I'm new to this one, so I don't see, everything is different compared to what was here before. So, we're going to talk about a lot of things. Post in. Tell me what you think about the reopening. We're coming in May 1st. We have some reopening of the state of Louisiana. Actually, the state has extended its stay-at-home mandate, but the parishes and local leaders are letting them expire. So I want to get your opinions on that, and tell me what you think. So go ahead and put in your opinions here, and let's get started, guys. Go ahead and grab yourself something to drink, cup of coffee, or a glass of tea, or anything cold to drink, and let's sit down and let's chat. That's what this is all about. It's a night that we can kind of educate everybody. Everybody can learn from each other. This is all a learning experience for everybody, guys. So let's go from there. Let's take a sip. And so, Governor John Bel Edwards, actually, or I'll call him Dictator John Bel Edwards, just recently decided that they were going to extend the stay-at-home mandate for the state of Louisiana to the 15th of May. Where other parishes have already started opening up, and some of them are opening up as the first. I got a couple questions, and someone asked me, well, what do we follow? Do we follow the state mandate, or do we follow the parish? Well, if your parish is opening up, guys, open up. Of course, do it safely. But, the whole point is we need to open up. And I agree with Dr. Fauci. It's too early to open the country. Well, Danielle, I don't trust Dr. Fauci. He is, if you look at, and I don't know how well you are into, we talk a lot of conspiracy stuff here, and I know you're new here, and but there's a lot of truth in conspiracy. If you don't realize this, what I do with conspiracy theories is I take the truth out of them and I fill in the holes. There's a lot of holes. Some of them are just total bullcrap, and some of them are there's a lot of truth in them. And what Dr. Fauci is actually, he is bought and paid for by the liberal elites. He's been with the Obama administration. He was with the Bush administration, and I don't know how much of a Christian, if you're a Christian or not. It's if you're following what the one world, the new world order, or the one world government, those things in that instance. What's happening is we have these people are bought and paid for by what we call the leftist global elites. And that's people that want the one world government, the new world order. And they are, that their goal is to destroy the population, destroy America, destroy the economy, destroy the president of the United States. And we're big. A lot of us are big Trump supporters here. I don't know if you are not, Danielle, but I'm just answering your questions here. And I know Trump is playing it smart. Trump is going along with Dr. Fauci, because if he was to say, "Okay, let's just go ahead and open now," and just full-fledged open, then Trump would get. Of course, they would crucify him for that. Of course, they're crucifying him for everything as it is. What we're dealing with here, and people just don't understand, there is a whole agenda to this whole thing. And the whole agenda is, if you notice, the Republican states are opening up, the Democratic states are closing and staying closed. That have done, and so you look at places like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming. A lot of those places never closed. You're not seeing these big explosions in them places. And you look at those three states, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Arkansas is about the same population size as Louisiana. Why are they not exploding? And I understand that they're, a lot. I mean, with the exception of New Orleans and Baton Rouge, Louisiana's a lot of rural. I mean, you go down, if you're from Louisiana, if you go down Highway 90, that's past Westwego. That's pretty much all rural until you get to Lafayette, and Lafayette's not really a big city. Then you look at the North Shore, still kind of, even though it's built up a lot, it's still rural. It's spaced apart. There's a lot of room there. Covington, Mandeville's, with the exception of Slidell, and even Slidell, parts of Slidell, when you get to the outer skirts of Slidell, it's rural. Then you got a lot of rural area until you get to Baton Rouge, and then Baton Rouge is kind of very clustered, and then it opens back up again. So we don't really. There's 4 million people. We don't have any big major cities, with the exception of, you got the greater New Orleans area, which has about 1.5 million people. It's not a lot of people here. And then you have Baton Rouge, which has about the same population. Jefferson Parish and East Baton Rouge Parish are the two largest parishes. They go back and forth between the two. So when you're dealing with those two parishes, that's the two largest parish. Pretty much everything else is. So why is it not exploding in states? My question is, why is it not exploding in states that never closed? Never. There's only 30 out of the 50 states. Volume is a bit low. Let's see. I might have to put. Is this better? How about now? Is that better? I might have to have the microphone. Can't hear but low. Oh, can hear but low. Let's see. Let me switch mics. Let me do this. How about now? Is that better? Taking the mic completely off. Is that better, guys? That's good. Okay. It might have been a mic which caused it. So I'll pull the mic off. So why is it the states that have never shut down? Let's look at Atlanta. Atlanta has the largest airport in the country, if not the world. So Atlanta had a lot of cases, but when why Atlanta never blew up and the rural areas are not exploding with the coronavirus because a population is spread out. Correct. And but I have a statement that it's the bad apple statement. You put a bad apple in a small bucket of apples with like 50, them apples are still going to go bad. You put a bad apple in a bucket of apples with thousands, they're still going to go bad. So the spread is going to spread. It doesn't matter how it spreads. It's still going to spread. Country people still move around. Country people still hang out with you. Country people hang out and help each other, especially in a farm in this time of year when they're doing a lot of farming. They work together. I got a friend of mine that's a country boy, and I mean he's constantly at other people's farms working, and and everybody around, and they go help at they go do their farm work, and then they go help at others. So, I mean, it's not like they're more helpful than city people, and they get together more. So, I mean, even though it's spread out, excuse me. I knew this was going to happen as soon as I get on the phone. Somebody do the live. They were going to call. So as soon as it happens, no matter what, no matter where you go, the spread's going to spread. Whether if they're spread out or not, people get together. And what I made a statement the other day. You can't stop this spread. You can't, I mean, unless you put yourself in a bunker and you have products and you disinfected everything and you actually sterilize yourself before you go in that bunker, you absolutely cannot stop this spread. I want to read a couple posts, comments that was brought in earlier. They're trying to reach a world currency also. Yes, Aunt Glenda, this is my cousin. I call her Aunt. But yes, well, that's part of the New World Order, the one world government, what they're doing. And, people just don't understand that there is a bigger picture to this whole thing. This whole virus, rather it was manufactured or this was a regular virus that just popped up somewhere. In a new virus because it came from, however they say it, a bat or animals, no matter which way. I believe the leftist global elite are taking advantage of this. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong on that, but the writing's on the wall, guys. And people are just giving up their freedom and their rights. I mean, the pastor in Central Louisiana, I had to think of that. He's not letting the governor dictate that he's going to have church. They put him under house arrest Saturday, and he still had church yesterday. He's willing to go to jail to be able to exercise his. There's a saying: "Give me freedom." Give me freedom. Give me liberty or give me give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. Basically what that means is if you're going to take my liberty away from me, then I'll die for it. Are you aware that the virus has species jumps? Well, that's what they're saying. They're not quite sure because 1 minute they're saying, yes, it can go from animals to humans. Then they say it doesn't, it can't. Then they're saying you can give it to your animals, but your animals can't give it to you. Then they're saying, no, you can't. There's so much. They don't know. They're guessing. And there's just everything is a whole guess game, Danielle. And so the whole thing is a big guessing game and a big, they're just making guess. They're shooting things out, and half of it's not true. A lot of it is fear mongering and scare tactics. What they're doing, they're scaring people into give up their rights, their freedoms, their constitutional rights. Now, guys, you may disagree. This is a time we can agree to disagree. This is what this is all about. This is what we're here to talk about. I'm telling you my point. You telling me your point. Give me let's talk here. This is what this is about. Agree and to disagree. The thing is, there's no proven facts of anything. That for every one scientific fact, they're saying that it can species jumps. There's 10 that's saying there's not. And then then they're saying that you can carry the disease for 14 days, and then there's 10 they're saying there's not. And then they're saying this. So there you just don't know what to believe. And then, what people don't realize, and I'll tell you this, Danielle, I didn't want to get into this part, but I'll tell you since you're new to the show, um, that I actually found, and I did, if you go back on my, if you look Clay Taylor, and you look at some of my lives from earlier when, I think end of February, beginning of March, when I first started doing these things, I showed everyone where there is a patent on this virus. Back in 2004, I think it was, or five. I don't have it sitting in front of me. It's on my desk on the other side here, and I'm kind of trapped in here. The computer's in front of me, and I can't go around it unless I end the live, because I would have to shut everything down and move the cameras. I got tripods and everything in front of me. But basically this. If you want it, private message me and I'll give you the patent number. Came right off the U.S. patent website that there's an actual patent on this disease. Let's see. They're definitely saying, sure, the zoo in California is trying to save the animal now. It was shown on television. See, Danielle, can I tell you something about television? And believe what you hear on TV 0% of the time. Half of that stuff is fake. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. Because if you listen to channel CBS, I'm saying channel 4, which is CBS here in the New Orleans area, but CBS for the people that are not from the New Orleans area, versus NBC, versus MSNBC, versus CNN, versus Fox, versus ABC, every one of the stories are different. Every one of them are right. I don't believe the media at all. I don't. I don't trust the media. I don't believe the media. The media lies to you all the time. And so, yeah, y'all was saying, and Aunt Glenda said the virus can jump from humans to your pets. At least it was on the news. Okay, see, the key word was, and you said it, Aunt Glenda, it was on the news. So, again, there are scientific facts that says it can, but there are also a bunch that says it can't. So, we got to look at, we don't really know what, I'm not a scientist. So it's hard for me to say, well, there are some studies saying it can, but there are some studies that saying it can't. You can't believe it. What's crazy is they're saying this disease is so deadly. I'm not going to use names. Yeah, Fox is what I listen to also. But also, I want to state that Fox is also owned by the big liberal corporations. They, unless it's coming out of Sean Hannity's mouth or Judge Janine or one of them, and I got to where you got to watch what you listen on regular Fox News. Fox News is not always 100% correct. They're the most accurate, but they're not 100% correct. I like to listen to foreign news. You want to get accurate news? Listen to BBC about American news. Listen to the Al Jazeera Network. Listen to OAN is pretty accurate. I haven't watched them in a while because I no longer have cable, but OAN is, from what I've seen, is one of the more accurate ones because they're not biased, and that's the problem. The problem is Fox is biased on the right. The rest are biased on the left. So, and then you have a lot of people in Fox that are pretending to be on the right, but really are on the left. So, it's one of those things that I don't always trust facts. Fox. They're one of the most accurate, but they're not 100% accurate. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Vino, for joining. Thank you guys for joining. So again, guys, give us some likes, give us some love. Share, let's share this here, guys, with everyone. Please let people know we're here for another 40, about 44, 43, 44 minutes. So share this, hit the share button, and let people know that we're on, so more people can join. But and get in on this conversation. So it's we could safely we can reopen and do this safely. There's it's called and protect our most vulnerable people, our elderly and the people with underlying health issues. Those people can do and practice the stay-at-home measure, where we can get around and move. And CDC said they have proven that the virus species jumped, and I have spoken with someone I know there that they have found it first in a cat. Yeah, again, I agree with you, and I understand what you're saying, Danielle. I don't even trust the CDC. You got to realize I trust very few people in Washington. Even some of the people that are giving Trump advice, I don't trust. And I think Trump knows he don't trust them. He's doing it because there's a whole reason behind that, and I don't want to get into that tonight. Um, let's see. Got to read from different news media channels, but from your own opinion. Um, it's we I'm not going to say that's not true, Danielle. I'm not saying, because I just don't 101% trust the CDC, because even the CDC, they're fudging things because they're being told to. It's people don't realize what I don't trust China as far as I can throw China. I don't. I don't trust China. But why do you think China? And there's proof out there if you really dig into this that this didn't come from China. It might have started in China where the virus was let out from the first cases, but it didn't come from China. China's fighting back, saying that, the Obama administration and the CIA brought this disease and let this disease. Now, I heard today, now this, again, I am taking this with a grain of salt, so let me tell you guys this here. But for Mardi Gras, now, I was out at Mardi Gras right here in Jefferson Parish, but they saying in New Orleans that people saw helicopters flying over and orange stuff coming out, and they had all kind of orange stuff. So now again, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I only had heard a handful of people tell me this, but then again, people say things, and just to say things, and rumors get around, and so I'm not going to say this is a facts or truth. Well, facts and truth are the same thing, but I'm just telling you that they're saying that people are actually believing here in the New Orleans area that they were sprayed during Mardi Gras time, and that's why New Orleans had such a big explosion. Again, that's just um, I'm I'm just repeating what someone said. I'm telling you, I take that with a grain of salt. I don't 100% believe it. I'm not going to discredit it and say it's false. I'm not going to say it's truth. Until I research it and study some more and get more people to, and more credible people that I know that would not fib and look into that. I'm not saying it's truth or a lie on that point, but you know, it's yes, the CDC has put out a lot of information. They have guidelines. Excuse me, let me take a sip here. When I talk, my throat gets dry and then I start coughing. I'm not sick. It's just the blood pressure pills I take make me cough, and especially when my throat gets dry, then it'll make me cough, scratches my throat. So I mean, they're changing things too. They're constantly changing things. With the virus. Well, you can catch it this way. Well, you can carry it for 4 times. No, I mean, there companies can reopen, but restrict their workers to sanctions. stations, I'm sorry, with safe distances to protect the work. Yes, I agree, England. And, that's the thing. And I'm jumping all over the place here, so I might have to stop reading the comments so I don't start jumping. But I'll state this and then go back to my other comments, so I'm not jumping all over the place, and then I'll come back. But please give the comments. It might just take me a second to get to your comments until I finish a point. But we can reopen safely and practice social distance as long as we use good hygiene. And that's the thing, in common sense. If you use good hygiene and common sense, why not? I mean, there are other states that are doing it, and the virus is not exploding there. So, I mean, the point is, I don't care if you live in a population of 5 million or if you live in a population of 5. If the virus is going to spread, it's going to spread. And that's the, now they saying the second round is going to be worse, and then it's going to, I don't completely trust it, guys. I don't. And there are reasons behind that. You can watch earlier shows. I'm not going to get into that tonight. I really don't want to go into those details. But there is so much information out there that discredits what they're saying. At first, they're saying that once you had it, you was immune. Now they're saying you're not immune. It's like they don't. It's like every day it's like depending on which way the weather blows, is what they're telling you. And I have friends that had it. I have a friend that was in ICU, and me and him had a conversation, and he agrees the same way I agree. He agrees the same exact way I agree. He thinks the same. Me and him talk all the time. And I don't know if you're watching or not, but if you want to say your name, you can, but I'm not gonna mention it without your permission. Now, I started to say this earlier and I jumped reading the comment here. Is I'm kind of all over the place and I need to get back on track here. Is that I know people that had the virus, their kids had the virus, and their elderly parents lived in a house and they got underlying health issues and overweight and diabetes and everything that they say that's bad for you. And they never got it. Why are not the healthcare workers getting it in mass amount of numbers like they claim? If this disease, see, it don't make sense. If this disease was so contagious, I'll get back to that in a second. Hold that thought there. I will get back to that, Danielle. If this disease was so contagious, then why is it our healthcare workers? Why is it our EMTs are not getting it by the thousands? They're getting it, but nowhere near the numbers that they should be getting it if the way they claim. So what exactly do I base my mistrust on? Well, first of all, I trust the government 0%. I love our president. Sometimes our president gets inaccurate information and passes it along. But I don't trust our government at all. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. A lot of people believe, the government's going to protect us. So where do I base my mistrust on? So what I do is I look at facts. I look at the writing on the wall. What's happening in a country? What's going on in a country? Remember earlier when I stated that we kind of do some conspiracy theory stuff here, but I base off truth. I take the truth out of there and then fill in all the holes. So remember I told you that I found the patent on a virus. Somebody gave it, and again, before I went wild, I went and I did my research. I went onto the U.S. patent website, found the patent. It's 816 pages long, I think, 800 and some more pages. I think it's 16. Don't hold me to the exact number. I know it's 800. So I did find a patent. Then I started researching all the people that are involved in this. There's a company called the Chiron Corporation that is actually the one who owns this virus, based out of California. And then when I started looking at all the investors, the people like the Clinton Foundation came up, Bill Gates kept coming up. I mean, it was like, and he's not a direct investor, but these people were like either working for the Clinton Foundation or these people were working for the Gates Foundation. It was just too much coincidence, too many coincidences. Then, so then I found another patent. It was called it's a European patent. And if you go on a European patents website, you put in that patent number and it comes up with the vaccination. And that one's like 40 something pages. It's about that thick. I printed the whole thing. I didn't print the exact whole patent because it's so many pages. I didn't have enough ink to print it all. So, I do research. I study. I look at, I listen to people that have conspiracy theories. I look into I find what's truth and what's not truth. But see, that's what we hear. But then you hear, hold on, I'm jumping off my title, Danielle. I'm going to get into that in just a second. I'm actually going to play a video in a second. I want y'all to hear this video. And then it's going to be proven to be fake, but that's why. Let me finish this. But so, answer your first question is, where do I base my mistrust on? What do I base my mistrust on? It's I take and I look for facts. I start doing research, and then when you start doing research, this information just jumps out at you, and it's a lot of research. It's a lot of work. But I mean, of course, I'm not Sean Hannity or Judge Janine. I don't have a whole lot of a team of people doing this for me. Yeah, I get people that, hey, look, watch this, and then I'll look at that, and then I say, oh no, I discredit that. I'll go and I can fact check it, and I get stuff all the time that fact checks are not correct. So, but to answer the second question, they aren't getting it because they're wearing PPE, but yet this commercial, let me play this commercial here. It's on my Facebook. Let me pull it up, and I want you to listen to this. Let's see if I can find it. My story. I don't want to add to my story. I just want to. What's crazy about this story here is I did this story. I posted it, and then Facebook immediately kicked me off. And then every time I try to go play it, it won't let me to play it. So let's see. Let me do. I can do it this way. In YouTube, I can do the CBS story. CBS story on nurse interview. Here we go. Now, just listen to this. It's 4 minutes and 25 seconds. It's a CBS story. After this commercial,
struggling with.
If you guys can hear it,
I just read an unbelievable article in the Epoch Times. Take a look. It's an investigation into the mysterious origins of the current outbreak. What other?
That's not it. Sorry.
Thank you very much, everyone. A very big day today.
No, that's not it. Hold on. Here it is.
Welcome back to CBS This Morning. As you can see, we are coming to you from our home so we can practice safe social distancing during the coronavirus outbreak, but still bring you the news you need to know. And the news today, not good for yet another day. The U.S. has more than 216,000 reported cases of this virus overall, and the death toll rose by more than 1,000 yesterday alone, now topping 5,100. The mayor of Los Angeles is urging the city's 4 million residents to cover their faces if they leave their homes. Now, that goes beyond state and national guidelines, but Mayor Eric Garcetti said people should not wear the medical grade mask needed by healthcare workers. So, Gail, it seems like the deeper we get into this crisis, the more the guidance on the face mask seems to evolve.
Yes. Yes, you're so right. I'm now even rethinking wearing a mask, but the most important thing is that the nurses and the doctors who need it get it. And that's what we're talking about, Tony. The nurses at 15 hospitals in 7 states, they're protesting this week over what they call a lack of preparedness by a major U.S. hospital chain. They say the shortage of protective equipment is putting them and their families and patients at risk. Senior investigative correspondent.
Stop there. Okay, so if they're wearing the protective PPEs, but yet the media is reporting that they're not wearing it because they don't have enough, then see, it don't line up, Danielle. And here's another one. Listen to this story. CBS News is in trouble. Listen to this.
We all know the coronavirus is real. However, the mainstream media's underhanded tactics are causing many Americans to panic. CBS was just caught red-handed using a crisis actor who they show on video in tears. A nurse says she quit her job after she was asked to work in a coronavirus ICU without a face mask. America is not prepared, and nurses are not being protected. CBS reported, now we know it was all a ruse. An Instagram model who claims to also be a part-time blogger and travel nurse became CBS News' big story over the weekend. Without checking out her nursing credentials or even doing the due diligence to confirm her wild accusations, CBS decided to air what turned out to be one big fraud. In tears, a nurse says she quit her job after she was asked to work in a coronavirus ICU without a face mask. America is not prepared, and nurses are not being protected. CBS News posted,
I quit my job today. I went into work and I was assigned to a COVID patient on an ICU unit that has been converted to a designated COVID unit. My manager, I understand we're short on supplies, but let me protect myself. Let me feel safe. I have family that I have to come home to, and the way things are looking, this isn't going to get any better. America.
In truth, we do know the blogger who goes by the handle Amaris on Facebook posted she has not worked in the ICU in over a year. So we have no idea what type of degree she holds or what level of nurse she truly is. Not working in a hospital in over a year also tells us this is not her primary source of income. Prior to CBS picking up this video, Amaris posted on her public Facebook page that she has anxiety and bipolar depression and had not been an employee at the hospital for over a year. She mentioned in her post that she was unsure if she was ready to return to her job, the Federalist reports. So it turns out this CBS video is entirely fraudulent. Yet CBS had a producer add music, captions, etc. to it without even vetting this fraud. So she had been on the job for a day after taking a year off to pursue something resembling an Instagram model career, and she quit because of the conditions. Deliberate misrepresentation of her career means you cannot take her other statements at face value. Crisis actor 101 type stuff. Faked ads. Right out of the Jussie playbook. She is indeed a nurse, albeit one who hasn't.
All right, we'll stop it there. So, all right, the media is having crisis actors. What they did is they took something like this, somebody that started crying, and they took it and they ran with it, and because that's what sells. So and that's the thing, Danielle, that you can't trust what they say. So in one statement they're saying they don't have enough PPE, but yet they're not catching it like they're saying they are. I don't. The numbers, to me, 2 + 2 = 4. It will always equal 4. It will never equal 6. It will never equal 8. It will never equal 20. 2 + 2 always equals 4. No, Tony, she's not. And I was going to get to that, Danielle. She never said that. She was just asking a question. It was a statement. And Danielle, he misunderstood most probably your question while you was asking. I get a lot of haters on here, a lot of people that are haters. And so, Danielle, and I have a lot of people when a question like that, they might jump on it, but please don't get offended. We just get a lot of haters on this topic, and so people, I have a few people that will back me, and when that happens. So that's the point that I'm making. So if they're wearing the PPEs, but yet they're saying they don't have enough and they're running out, or they're wearing the same ones, or they're wearing the dirty ones, and you see all these pictures, that's all photo ops. It's all photo ops. Most of it's staged. I'm not going to say some hospitals didn't run out and some hospitals are not, but it's just not adding up. It's not adding up what they're saying. If you really listen thoroughly to what they say, it's just not adding up. Well, they're protected, but the thing is, it doesn't, but the PPEs doesn't protect you from catching the virus. It only protects you from spreading the virus. See, that's another thing they say. Okay, so it don't stop you from catching it. It just stops you from spreading it. That don't make sense. It's like saying a double negative. It's like saying I ain't gonna. Yeah, and I catch myself saying that a lot of times. And instead of I don't have. The thing is, if you're wearing something over your face and it's stopping you from spreading it, then you shouldn't be able to catch it. Because the same germs that are coming in, that same mask, if it's protecting it going out, it should protect it coming in. That's the thing. That's what I just don't understand. There you go. That common sense. I'm going to just grab this real quick. I can reach over and grab this. I make masks out of these, and I don't have one, but I'm going to just kind of show you. So this is kind of, I make some masks for people that need them and give them to them, and some I sell to make a few extra bucks, but I'm just using this as an example. So this is a resemblance of the mask that goes over the face like this. So if it's protecting going out, it should protect what's coming in. Now, you're supposed to catch it through your eyes, too. Your hands, you touch your eyes. So why are they not saying, okay, well, let's wear eye goggles? No, I know you're not. I know you're not, Danielle. I'm just telling you that we have a lot of people that do that. And I know you're not. I invited you, so I wouldn't have invited you if I knew you wasn't. If I knew you was. It's just it's the point that things just don't make sense. The numbers are not adding up. Somebody, let me read this to you. And this made a lot of sense on my post earlier. And I hope, Robert, you don't mind me sharing this. I mean, it's public on my post, so I'm sure he don't mind. But I mean, he made I'm sorry. I think it's Reggie. No, that's not it. It wasn't Reggie. It was Robert. So I basically made a post today stating that, it's time for us to start moving on. We need to open up the government. It's so on and so on. So, and I mean, this is a comment he made here. And it says, Clay Taylor, they're talking about the governor. His numbers made no sense. 27,000 cases since the beginning, 17,000 recovered. That doesn't mean there are 10,000 active cases floating around out there. So see that there, it don't make sense. So now we got 17,000 people recovered, 27,000 cases. If you ever notice the way the media puts things, they make it seem like we have, when they say we had we're up to 2,000 deaths, but the way they make it sound like it's 2,000 new deaths when that's the total since the beginning. I notice I've been catching them doing that a lot. It's all in the way they word it. Let's see. So, I mean, the number. So now what they're saying is there's 10,000 active cases floating out there still. It just don't add up. The numbers are not adding up. So if there's only 10,000 left cases out of 4 million people, so 4 million people, 1% would be what? 40,000? So that's less than 1% of the population. Of Louisiana, we're talking about, still has this virus. If that's correct. But yet it's still so bad that we can't move things, start moving forward. Things don't make sense. The numbers don't add up. None of this adds up. And that's all I say is people need to just study. A lot of people, don't study and research their opinions. I'm sorry, their opinions, their facts. They don't, and they take what everything somebody says as, I take what people say as a grain of salt. And I'm sorry, but until I can actually prove it correct, I take what people say as a grain of salt. Because people say stuff just to say stuff. People love to talk. They like to talk to hear themselves talk. I want to get some more comments, guys. I want to hear what you guys got to say here. Anthony, come on, throw some more comments in there. Everybody that's part of this conversation that's still on YouTube, I want to get some comments on YouTube if you have anything. Then, masks have to meet a certain standards. They have to be made of material, certain density. That's because of the virus, its size. It can pass through the material of the mask. So yes, but so in that case, then why are these nurses not catching this virus? See, again, as a statement you said, because they're wearing PPEs. But if they're wearing these PPEs, but yet they still can catch the virus because it's not to protect them, it's just to protect the others. But see, again, that don't make sense now because the size of the virus, that the virus can still pass through it. So if it can't protect them, then that mask still can't protect others. If we don't get people back to work, we will have more companies going under. Yes, and that's the next step I was going to talk about. So I'm glad you kind of brought us into that because we got about 14 minutes left, and I try not to go over. Sometimes we do. If people are active, we'll go over, and if y'all want to go longer at 9, we can. I don't have to shut down. It's not like I'm paying for this. This is live. We can go as long as we wish. But if we don't get people back to work, we need to reopen this country because the businesses are not going. They're going to start shutting down. They're going to say, "Okay, screw this." What's going to happen in Louisiana is people going to just start saying, "Okay, guess what? We're going to go somewhere else. We're going to go to a state like Texas that's allowing us to open up our business and open up there. We're going to go to Florida. We're going to go to Georgia. We're going to go to Mississippi, the neighboring state." We need to reopen the economy. This is still haven't proven. They keep saying this is worse than the flu. They have yet to get to the numbers of the flu. We're right there. We're pretty close. But we're not. This is not really surpassed. If it has, because I haven't really looked at the latest numbers. I'll do that right now. I haven't looked at the latest coronavirus numbers. I'm gonna do that right now. Google, but just they keep saying this is worse than the flu. This is worse than SARS. Well, SARS is actually this. It's just a different strand of it. We have to reopen this country. We have to reopen this economy. We need, and it's going to hurt the left by keeping it closed, like places like California, New York. You'll see places like Jefferson Parish start to move, but the problem with that is we can only open local businesses that don't need state licenses, like with alcohol sales or the poker machines or things like that. So if they don't require state licensing, then they'll be able to move into the different phases of opening, like the movie theaters and things like that. We're just about there, yes. So the question is, the economy is getting worse. We will be in a depression if you can't see that. So we're just about there, and we need to reopen this economy. So coronavirus count map. Let's look at this. I'm going to pull up this. I don't want the Louisiana one. I want the one for the. I like to use Worldometer. I find they're pretty close to being accurate. They're not the most accurate, but they're pretty close to being accurate. They line up with the CDC. It's just the Worldometer is actually the closest. So right now, worldwide, Texas is opening up. Florida's opening up. So worldwide, that's 3,064,225 cases worldwide. Recovered is 922,387. Now you see, guys, there's a big difference between, how many active cases and how many recovered. So less than 1 million people have so-called recovered from this. Now, I want to go to the United States numbers. The United States is still, so far, number one. We have over 1 million cases out of 400 million people, give or take. So that's still less than 1% of the population. There's 56,797 deaths, and there's 138,990 recovered. Now, Louisiana is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on the list. Florida is right above us. Georgia is 9, 10, 11, 12 on the list. So we have 27,068, and Georgia has 24,225 active cases. And they got the largest airport where planes come in from all over the world in Atlanta. Why is it that they're right up there at the top? Why they're not at the top? A lot bigger city. Much bigger city. I mean, what? Georgia has about 5 or 6 million people? Atlanta, I'm sorry. So, I mean, those numbers there, now you're looking at 6 million people to 25,000. I mean, you're still at 0.01% of the population. You're not even at 1% of the population. I'm just throwing numbers out there, guys. These are not accurate numbers here, so I want to make sure you guys understand that. But 24,225 cases. That's as of today. There's only 994 deaths. We have basically almost, not quite double, but almost double the deaths. And they have an airport that's open year round. We have Mardi Gras that's once a year that people come to, but they have an airport that's open year round where people come in from all over the world. Why isn't Atlanta not up there? Population wise. There's only, according to this, there's only 12,350 per 1 million population. If as many medical professionals predict a second wave, if we open up too soon, then we won't have to worry about the economy because dead people don't need jobs or need to eat. I don't think it's going to be as bad. I think it's made its way through, and I don't think that they're trying to say it's going to be bad, Danielle, but I don't 100% agree with that. I mean, this was supposed to be bad, and it's not as bad. So now they're trying to say, well, no, the second wave is going to be worse. I mean, unless they go in and they mutate this thing and they make it worse and start spreading it, that's why I will not let them put something up my nose or inject me with something. I just won't let it happen. And Glenda says, yes, I also watch World News and read World News to get a better perspective of the situation concerning the COVID-19 virus and how they are handling getting their workers back to work. Yes, and that's the thing. I mean, but you look at all the news stations, like I said, from ABC to Fox to CNN to NBC to all of them. And you look at every one of them will tell you a different story. Louisiana hit its peak. We hit our peak. We've actually kind of going down. I just don't. I think all them people that they were sticking stuff up their nose, I think they were infecting them with the virus. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong, but why somebody like me that's out and about, I don't wear a mask, I have a bad habit of biting my fingernails. I try to wash my hands as much as I can, and I have hand sanitizer and disinfectant. So if someone like me has not caught this yet, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to catch it, I got, knock on wood, I got wood right next to me, or up here. Somebody like me that is out as much as I am, and I have not caught it yet, then this thing is not as deadly as they claim it is. Well, phase 1 will start opening in Jefferson Parish, Barbara, on the 1st. Where Jefferson Parish is not renewing the phase 1. So Jefferson Parish is going to renews. They're going to renew. They're not renewing the stay-at-home mandate. So what they're doing is Jefferson Parish is going to start, unless it's a business that requires state licensing, like casinos, bars, because the alcohol license comes from the state, things that require permits from the state to operate, then they could start opening up May 1st to phase 1. So it looks like we have to wait 2 more weeks. Yeah, we might have to wait 2 more weeks for the state for like the other things, which, for people that, who goes to bars? Nobody goes to bars, anymore. I don't, I'm not a bar person. I don't drink alcohol. So, that don't bother me if they open. I just would like to be able to get up and go to the mall. I would like to go shopping again. I enjoy going out looking for. I want to buy camera equipment so I can better my YouTube channel and. But I want to be able to go look into this. I can't do that because they all closed. And I am not a person that likes to buy and shop on the internet. I mean, I do some shopping on the internet, but when it comes to stuff like the camera, I want to be able to touch it, feel it, smell it, not really smell it, but you know what I mean. I like to, look at it, know what we're getting, what I'm paying for. And you can't go into Best Buy because Best Buy has all their stores closed. You have to order online and then pick it up. And then, and then we're taking returns right now because of I bought a watch at Big Lots the other day. It don't work and I can't even return it. So how I had to get my money back is, yes, I shipped the watch back, but I called my credit card company and said, hey, listen, I bought something that was defective. They don't want to take it back because of the virus. So they actually they're giving me a credit on the watch and on my credit card. And then I told them, I said, look, I'm shipping a watch back to Big Lots. Whether they take it back or not, I don't care. I got my money back from my credit card. But you can't even do returns in some stores because they're not accepting returns. So if I'm going to go spend $500 on something that I can't even return until we don't know when, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to go to church like I like to go to church. I mean, I do go to church, but I have other churches I like to visit. I can't even go visit because, what they did with this pastor. And this pastor done said, you're not going to stop me from exercising my First Amendment right. And I'll really touch on this a little bit, guys. And we talked about this. And I know some people feel differently about this. But, his members, he said, look, I'm going to have service. Who wants to come has a right to come. The doors are open. And his members show up. They're big boys and girls. They can, if they choose to exercise their First Amendment right, it's their choice. We don't need Big Brother telling us we can't do it. But everybody that's giving up their religious freedom, do you actually think you're going to get that back? Everybody that thinks that every little bit of freedom, during 9/11, we gave it up in the name of Muslim terrorists, because the Muslims were coming after us. If we didn't do this, and did we get? No, we lost those rights. We never got them back. 9/11 of 2001. And we're in 2020, going to be in 2021. And so almost 19 years, almost 20 years later, we still have not gotten those rights back. All in the name of public safety. All in the name of safety. That's how they get you. Well, all in the name of this global pandemic and health to keep people from dying. We can't let you worship at home. But so what happens is you got to have church on Facebook, and then Facebook is taking down your posts or stopping you from holding church services because they're messing with the feeds. And there are churches that are doing this, that are having this trouble. I know people that telling me they were having trouble having church. So they're being silenced. Barbara Ingram, are you right? We aren't ready. No, she didn't say. She didn't say, Danielle, they're not ready. She said they are ready. It basically, I'll read the whole post. I was hoping that they would open phase 1 on May 1st, but looks like we have to wait 2 more weeks. Oshner said even if the open of the 50, we still have to be waiting because they don't feel given the numbers. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. That we ready. Okay. All right. I didn't read the whole. That's why I didn't read the whole thing. So correct, Danielle. You're all right. She did say that. All right. We're going to church. We have not stopped, but we stay in our cars and the pastor preaches off the porch with an amp and a mic. Yes, some churches are doing that, but you got states that are trying to stop that and not allowing that. But again, if people choose to go in a building, then they should be able to go in a building. That's their choice and their right. We don't need, in the name of public safety, that, we're going to take those rights away from you because we said we know better. These people don't know no better. These same people, Nancy Pelosi wants to get, Trump is donating his salary, and Nancy Pelosi is crying for a raise. I love being in the open air, birds singing, and our pastor preaching. I love an outdoor church, going to church and having outdoor services. Not many churches do that. Of course, it's so hot. You can only do it at certain times a year here. And then with the weather, you can't really plan because you don't know if it's going to be raining or not. But I love having outdoor services. Let me do this real quick. Let me end the YouTube side, and we'll pick this stuff up in just a second. Well, we'll keep it going. So, it's the point, guys, is the First Amendment. Hey, Tab, how you doing? And thanks for joining. But it's. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read and think at the same time, and I can't do both at the same time here. The point I'm making is, our government can't be trusted. Rather, and I'm not talking about President Trump. I'm talking about, there's different phases of our government people don't realize. There's people that control this government and control. They try to control Trump, but they can't. And that's why they're trying to do what they're doing to Trump, because they can't control him. This virus is not as bad as they said it was going to be. I'm not saying it's not bad. I'm not saying people are not dying from this. But it's not as bad as they said it was going to be. And now they're saying, oh, well, no, well, it's going to be the next round. And it might come, No, then I promise you guys, and we'll have this as recording as because I'm going to save this recording in case Facebook deletes it. So as my witness, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but you watch and see, come November, December, or whenever this comes back up, if they don't come back and if it's not as bad as they say it's going to be, oh, well, no, we're going to be around 3. That one's going to be bad. And then they're going to keep on. My daughter came in this weekend from Alabama, but had to be approved by her job to come into our state. As long as she was coming to my house and not anywhere else, it was allowed. Let's see. Danielle said, what the news media creed is: if it bleed, it leads. But we live in rural areas, is what Aunt Glenda stated. So we talked about those. So, yeah. On the name of public safety, now they're saying you can't travel from state to state, and some states are not allowing you, and they're going to force you to lock. That's so unconstitutional. You people don't realize and see that how many lawsuits are going to be flying after this, and what it's going to cost the states. And I know that nobody's going to never see any money from this, but you're going to see some major legislation change over the next few years, because the Supreme Court's going to, you look at federal judges already siding with the churches and Bill Barr siding with the people because of the overreach of the government. And the Supreme Court's going to side. It's going to go to the Supreme Court. And I know this is going to be a long battle in a Supreme Court, but you're going to see that this overreach that they've done just to limit the people's power and what people can and can't do, all in the name. You can't do that. You cannot take someone's constitutional rights away in the name of public health. Read it in the Constitution, guys. That's the ultimate law. There's literally, you got your local laws, like your Westweco city, local cities laws. They can't supersede your parish or county laws. Your parish or county laws can't supersede state laws. State laws can't supersede federal laws, and federal law can't supersede the Constitution, which is the ultimate law. So that's the law that, I mean, the only way they can change that or violate that is one, if Trump declares martial law, then it becomes null and void. And it really don't become null and void. It just, Trump can override it, or the president, whatever president, by declaring martial law, because then you have no have no constitutional rights. Or if they amend it. Now, maybe they may amend it, the Constitution. I don't think the people are going to allow it. I don't see it passing in the states because it has to be approved by, I think, 2/3 of the states. I forget how many states. If somebody knows that, comment and tell me exactly. I don't remember how many states have to, but it's so many states have to approve it. And I just don't see it happening. You have too many conservative representatives, and even in very liberal states, there's conservative districts that would block that, and it would not get the votes to pass to be able to so people can lose their rights in a pandemic like this. Give me your opinion, guys. Do you think we should amend the Constitution so it can happen? So during a pandemic that it will give all the rights and power to the states? I want your opinion to see what you think on that. Type it in here below, guys. Let's take a poll real quick. We even do it better than this. For all that's listening, if you think the government should do a mandate, amend the Constitution to where that we basically lose our constitutional rights during a pandemic, give me thumbs up. If you disagree, give me the heart. Come on, guys. I want to give me your opinion here. What you think? I want to get your opinion there on that. I agree, Danielle. I'm just asking an opinion here. So put a heart there. So that I know that's one vote for no. Leave I agree with that. That's actually I'm gonna put mine. I'm gonna give the first one because I say leave it alone. But I'm just asking you what your opinions are. This is kind of a basic poll. So Gail, give me a heart, Gail, right there. Just put the heart in there. I actually, like right here, like I hit. I want to see a heart. Like what I just placed. So everybody here pretty much so far is going to agree with me on that. And I've got a thumbs down. One said leave the Constitution alone. I think the states have the right to decide for itself rather to open back up. Correct. Well, the federal government, Trump has left that to the states. Trump has never taken that away from the states. So the states, and Glenda, the states have It's called separation between federal government and state. That's Trump is. Yes, Trump can override the federal government. I mean, the states. He has chosen not to. Those states that are opening up, Trump is saying, hey, the governor knows what's best. He's letting them. He may not agree with them, but he's going to agree to disagree. What do y'all think about the state opening up? Do y'all think it's too soon? Because that was the original whole conversation. And we kind of got off subject here, which is fine because we had some comments and people asked questions and we went in a total different direction that was planned. So what do you guys think personally? Do y'all think we should possibly wait to reopen the state? Should the local parishes or counties? Agree, Barbara. Each parish and district should make that decision. And again, it's the same way with our Constitution, separation between the state and the local counties. That's why we have parish leaders versus we just don't have the governor that makes the decision for everyone. Everybody makes that decision, their own decision. I think Jefferson Parish has a decline. We have no one on ventilators. We're declining steadily. We should start opening. The people who choose to social distance and stay, that they should. I think elderly people, and we should still do the special hours for the elderly people to go to the store, maybe close the store, disinfectant, and not just elderly people, but people that have that are disabled. If you have a card that states you're disabled because you have a disability, then you should fall into that category with the elderly and go in. So say that's between 6 and 8 in the morning. Then the store should close from 8 to 9 to disinfect everything and reopen back up. Kentucky has 84 cases. Low should not be compared to us. Well, I didn't say Kentucky, but did I say Kentucky? But the thing is, it doesn't matter how many we have, and I've stated this again, and I'll say it again. It doesn't matter how many cases. The spread is going to spread the same, whether you got 5 cases or 5,000 cases. Just that same apple in a bucket. Georgia, look at Georgia. You look at populations that are equal. So you compare populations. So let's take Arkansas, Wyoming, North Dakota, and South Dakota. That's 4 states. Those 4 states put together is about the size of Louisiana. That's actually what was reported by Jefferson Parish in the last in the last report. That's a report from the Department of Public Health and Safety that no one is on Vince. So people yes, and those are the people that should social distance and take the higher precautions. People like me and whoever else is, well, I have compromised immune system. I've had major surgeries. I have a lot of health issues. So I'm using myself as like a healthy person. So when you have cases like People that are completely healthy, why should they be stuck at home? Why should they not be allowed to go to work? Why should they not be allowed to go shopping? Why should they not be allowed to go to church? Why they should not be allowed to be able to exercise their constitutional right of being just pursuing happiness? Oh, okay, I see what you're saying, Barbara. But even as an example, it doesn't matter if a state has 5 cases or 5,000. Those, if the spread was like they claim it is, those states have big major cities. Why is it not spreading in the major cities that have about the same size city as New Orleans? New Orleans has less than 1 million. New Orleans itself, now the New Orleans area is like 1.5 million. That's Jefferson Parish and all the other surrounding parishes. But New Orleans has less than 1 million people. So there are places in the states that I named, like Little Rock, Arkansas, like Green Bay, Wisconsin, Sioux Falls, North Dakota. Those places, they if not smaller than New Orleans, they may be bigger. I don't know the population of those, but they either are the same or bigger. I don't think any of those are smaller than New Orleans. New Orleans is one of the smallest big cities in the country. Of course, we're a small big city. We have all the amenities and things of a big city, but we're a very small city population-wise. So why is it not spreading in places like that? It just don't make sense. That's all my point. The old thing, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. What makes them better than us, that they're either just the same size or bigger than us, not spreading? Of course they want to blame Mardi Gras on this. Well, then let's take Atlanta. Because we might have Mardi Gras that's once a year, that where we have a lot of people come through. Atlanta has lots of people come through from all over the world through that airport because it's a major hub. Why are they not exploding? I mean, yeah, they got 20,000, but they're less than what we got. Why they're not up there with us? They're like 2 or 3 below us. Why they're like not next to us or right above us? We're number 9. We're not even the highest. It's the Northeast. Where it's concentrated out is in the Northeast. In California. Let's see. Let me tell you. 1 is New York with 289,000 cases. New Jersey has 111,000 cases. Then every other state below that is well below 100,000. Massachusetts is 56. Illinois is 45. California is 45. Pennsylvania is 43. Michigan's 38. Florida's right above us with 32. And Louisiana's 27,000. Now, Florida's a lot bigger than we are. Why is Florida not up there? And Florida has Disney World, where people come in from all over the world, up until they closed it. So Mardi Gras, we had a week of people coming in all over. I mean, literally, Disney World had months, years of people coming in from all over until they closed it. Why are the cases not just as high as New York, New Jersey? Those are the 2 states that are over 100,000. New Jersey and New York. Excuse me. We only have 27,000 cases out of 4 million people. The numbers don't add up. oh, but we're the highest per percentage per population. Of course, now they're trying to say that, and I love now they're using the racist card. Oh, well, now this is a virus that chooses race. I mean, how ridiculous does this sound? Just exactly what they stated about the black people, or that's everybody in the South. My neighbor said, you know why black people getting it? Well, she's black, so she could say this. Is because we eat everything they're not supposed to. But she says, but that's not just black people. That's everybody in the South. That's everybody. And she named a bunch of stuff. That's everybody in Louisiana. The average person in Louisiana is overweight and obese. So now they're making it a racist virus. Oh, this virus now chooses it and chooses by race. How ridiculous does that sound? It's just, they making this stuff up as they go. That's why I tell you guys to educate yourself and just really look. It just don't make sense. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's a big piece of this pie that I'm missing. And if I am, and somebody has that piece of the pie, please show it to me. And I'll look at it, and then I'll vet it, and then see if it's accurate. Sister Mona, if you're still here, give us your comment. People with compromised immune system are at the highest risk. That's pretty much everybody in the state of Louisiana. We all eat stuff we're not supposed to eat. We all have somewhat of a compromise, because pretty much the average person here has some kind of blood pressure, diabetes, if not all of the above, obesity. It's all the stuff that they named. At least every person in this state has at least one. Not every, but just about every person in the state has at least one of those. It's just, I'm puzzled because of it don't make sense. And it's not just a Louisiana thing. It's a whole Southern thing. I'm glad you're with me on this one, Sister Mona. It's about time you agree with me on something. I'm joking. It's just, we all have a piece of that puzzle. We're all not puzzle. We all have one of them symptoms, so that makes us a higher risk. Hey, Danette, how you doing? Thanks for joining. IKR, I don't know what IKR is. So, if we're not overweight some kind of way, if we don't have high blood pressure, if we don't have sugar diabetes, we all or have something. Oh, I'm finally right about something. If we all have one of those disease, something that makes us all at the higher risk. It don't make sense, guys. But yet this is a racist virus, and it chooses African Americans over white people. Hold on, wait. It didn't come to me, so I just jumped to my next door neighbor because they're African American. It didn't come to my house because we're Caucasian. I mean, you see how ridiculous that sounds? I mean, but that's what the governor was on taunting about, not taunting, but proudly boasting about. This is and they get on and they boastfully talk about this crap. And they don't realize how ridiculous and how stupid it makes them sound. But then yet sit there, well, this is a disease that doesn't determine and discriminate against white, black, or American, or Democrat, or Republican, or this. But then you're going to turn around in the very next sentence talk about how African Americans are a higher risk. Well, if it doesn't discriminate, how is African Americans higher risk? The virus just happened to affect certain races and people, like Caucasian race doesn't get, I can't see at the glare, sickle cell disease. I've heard of Caucasians getting it. I could be wrong on that, but I've heard of that, but I could be wrong on that. But this virus here is, if the thing is, I don't think it's targeting the African American race because they're African American. I think what they're doing is they're trying to do, what they're trying to do is they're taking that to, again, create division. So when people say, well, let's open up, well, now we're racist because we're going to harm the black people on this. That's why they're doing that. It's that. You went to church, Mona put, I went to church Sunday. I'm tired of the whole fear thing. I'm not afraid. They're doing church online live. We had maybe 5 people in the huge auditorium. It was nice. We need to open up businesses. Businesses will not make it or otherwise. Yes. And that's what I'm getting. I'm talking to people all the time. I'm out and about. I talk to people on a daily basis. And they're saying the same thing. White people, black people, yellow people, brown people, they're all saying the same thing. Most people think this is a big crock of bull. There's only a handful of people. But the media is taking those handful of people. They won't interview people like me to show the facts about how this disease is I sent them the patent. I'm still waiting for them to call me because they want to create fear. They want to create fear. The virus also infects more males. But I know a lot of females. See, that's the thing. I know what you're saying because I hear them saying that. But I know more females that got this than males. That's right. They want credit for fear. And Danielle, that's the whole thing, is they want to create fear. So now, yes, it attacks males, and yes, it attacks African Americans. And then if you're an African American male, you're higher at risk. And then if you're an African American male with this, you're not even a higher risk. When I think everybody has the same risk, just like the flu. I personally, and again, I could be wrong, I personally don't think this is no different than any other virus out there. The only reason why you're hearing about the numbers, because if you go look at SARS, go look at Ebola, go look at the flu, and look at these numbers and compare them all together. They're all right there together. Now, we're on a down track. The whole country as a whole. You're getting less and less active cases. Well, I do get the daily reports because I look at the daily reports. That's the thing, Barbara. So I'm not into healthcare, but I do look at these daily reports, and I go and I look at the facts. See, because not all healthcare, you got to look at what you hear in the healthcare is only the healthcare that agrees with their agenda. You don't see healthcare issues. Like when Trump says something that, okay, well, we see this, and this, and they jump all over and they try to shut that up and they criticize him for saying that, of the things that are working and the good, the positive parts of this versus that's all they want to show is the negative. I mean, you look at show me in the media one positive thing they said about this virus since it started. Nothing. I'll tell you the only one positive thing they showed. Well, other viruses are not taking a toll on healthcare, but they still were not as overwhelmed as they said they were going to be. I mean, during flu season, when flu season's at its peak, you try to go to the hospital and see the hospital, how full. I dealt with it when my mother was in the hospital because she would always catch the flu or be in during flu season, and how it would take her 2 and 3 days to get a bed. See, you just didn't hear about it. They were overwhelmed. I know doctors and nurses that were just as overwhelmed. And I know doctors and nurses are saying the exact same thing as, hey, this is no different than what the flu is like. You have some that say one thing, some that say the other thing. And you have some that are being told that the reports are over here, but they're being told to report over here. Just like which that video up I showed, how they're overwhelmed, they're overworked. You see these pictures and these photos, but then you go and you talk to people that work in some of these hospitals, and it's like, that's not like that. And I'm not saying these doctors and nurses and they're not being worked hard. I'm not saying that. I give them credit. I thank them every day for what they do. I appreciate everything they've done. But the media is overdoing it. I know people who work in healthcare, and they're saying what we all know. They're calling deaths COVID-19 when they're in fact are not, or they're not sure. Heart attack deaths are being called COVID-19. And yes, I know that for a fact because I know someone that died of a heart attack, stroke deaths, and so on and so on. And I know that for a fact. Again, they tried to do that with that 17-year-old boy that died, and it was I think either heart failure or aneurysm, I don't remember, and tried to say that he died of COVID-19. And the dad came back and said, no, I don't remember the thing. I think it was a heart attack. At the beginning, we were running around working 24 hours a day. For the last month, I have been working 7 days a week getting supplies. It's just, they're making it worse than what it is. I'm not saying these people are not working, but they're shorthanded. Some of them are not wanting to work. So yes, they're working because there are not enough doctors and nurses and physicians to work in these doctors' offices and hospitals. And I know they're pulling some out of doctors' offices and bringing them into the hospitals. But, so give others a break. But this is no different than the flu. When these hospitals are overwhelmed, and you'll sit in a waiting room for 3 days, in an emergency room for 3 days just to get a bed during flu season. I've known people to do that, but you don't hear that on the news. But I experienced that myself. When we're over during cold and flu season, especially with elderly people, the hospitals are packed and getting beds. It's like going through where I might, I was in full-fledged pain and walked out of the hospital after waiting 6 hours just to be seen, home, hurting, just sitting there waiting for them. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Throwing up my intestines before I had my intestines removed, part of them. Six and 8 and 12 hours, spent a whole entire day. I did it with my mother. My mother was in the hospital every 2 to 3 months. So, I'm not going to say that the hospitals may not be a little bit worse, but they're not as bad as they're making them seem. You just said it, Barbara. One hospital where your daughter works has no cases. But I guarantee if you listen to the media in that area, that hospital's to the capacity with COVID-19 cases. If you listen to the media. Seriously, you don't think it is any different than any other virus? Well, technically, in the laboratories, there's a term used called slippery, what means the virus has the ability to mutate itself every 2 weeks. I'm not speaking to you as someone who doesn't have access to, hold on, it jumped, to proven knowledge of what I just told you. And then I've never sat 3 days for a bed because of the flu. Dylan was very weak immune system and brought her to the ER full of people. Even with Bristol, they checked them out and sent them home with medicine. Yeah, but if they didn't, but when I needed to be hospitalized, they wanted me to wait because they were full. My mother sat in the hospital in the ER for 2 and 3 days at times, waiting for a bed because she couldn't breathe and needed to be hospitalized. I had the flu and I had viruses, but never had a ventilator. Why are people on ventilators? People with the flu, I've known people with the flu. My cousin had the flu back in December and was put on a ventilator. He had got pneumonia and was put on a ventilator. So yes, it happens with people. You just don't hear about it. In December, when I had a viral upper respiratory infection, I thought I was going to die for 2 weeks. Oops, let me hit it. My sister told me to go to the ER. My doctor told me they wouldn't have not kept me. They would have not kept me. I would have been sent home. I care for self better than I would have been in bed in a hospital. The thing is, there are people on ventilators with the flu. There are people that catch a cold, that have. My mother, several times, was close. She never got put on a ventilator, but was very close. Most of the time when she went in the hospital, what they had to do when she would catch a cold or something because she had COPD, and it would inflare the COPD from a cold or a flu or anything like that, is they would have to put this whole entire, it wasn't quite a ventilator, but several times they had to do this mask that just sucked onto her face that couldn't take off. And it was just, and that basically forcing oxygen into her so she can get her proper oxygen level until her oxygen level went up. So, and that was from a simple cold. Started off with runny nose and a cold. Well, address it. So I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to have it. I got to look into those facts, Danielle, to see, if that's actually, are they reporting it? I need to really look into that and study that. We just hear them saying that because they're saying that, or is that actually, I got to see how much truth is behind that. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying that, where the truth is coming from, how much truth is there and how much false, because you got to realize, just hearing this on the news, just because the news or the media said it, that don't make it. It could be 101,000. But then you can actually look at the report, what they actually where they got it from, and they could say the complete opposite. So I would have to look into that. I mean, I'm not going to credit it. I'm not going to discredit it. That's something I would have to do some research on and do a show on and spend some time doing some research on that. But it's I can't address something that I'm not sure because I don't know what to believe. I really don't know what to believe. For one scientist that's saying, yeah, it's mutating itself, but then there's 10 other ones saying, no, that's not. See, there's two different sides. So it's just like global warming. For every one scientist that shows proof of global warming, there's like 20 that disproves it. And it's the same thing. So, have to look at, is this thing mutate? Well, is it really as bad as it when it mutates itself? Is it, does the light kill it? There are many studies that show that light and warmth kills it. There's a lot that does. Why do you think the Southern Hemisphere has not caught this as bad as they're just starting to ramp up the cases? Because it's summertime. They're coming out of summer in the Southern Hemisphere. We're coming out of winter going into summer. They're coming out of summer going into winter. So their flu season and their virus seasons are just picking up. I mean, let's look at this in the world. Let me go back to the world cases real quick. In places like I'm looking here. Congo, which is in Africa in the Southern Hemisphere, 200 cases. Venezuela, which they're not in the Southern Hemisphere, but they're on the equator where it's 329 cases. So places where it's warm, it's not as bad. I'm looking here. Vatican City only has non-report cases. It's its own country. Of course, there's not a whole lot of people that live in Vatican City. That could be very high because Vatican City might have 50 people that live in there. So that's a very percentage-wise, that's very high when you have 9 or 10 people that have it. And it's just. So what do you do, Danielle, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, I have a lot of friends that are on the inside that work, and I get accurate reports. It's just what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to. I have a friend of mine that works in Washington, D.C., that does a lot of stuff for the White House, that works with scientists, that works with like Dr. Fauci and stuff, which I've talked to them already a while back, and they said it's not as bad as they say. But I'm going to ask them. And I know these people won't lie to me. These people have never lied to me. I have friends that work in the White House. I have friends that worked in the White House. I have friends that you mind, meaning you don't want to tell. Robert Ingram, I work for Ochsner and to see what's happening. I mean, I'm gonna do some studying, and I'm gonna do some research here on this, and we're gonna talk about this. I'm gonna make some phone calls tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow night's show or during the week, but I will. We're gonna get down to the bottom of this, and Let's get these facts. I mean, I want to get facts, and I'm not saying that you're lying, Danielle. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I don't know. I would like to know where you're getting your information from. If you don't have to tell us, but do you do this kind of work, or do you? And if you do, then that's something that it's good. Then maybe I can get you to call in one night and we can talk. But it's just I don't know what you do for a living. I'm not 100% sure, but or where you're getting your information from. But I mean, I don't work on the inside, but I have friends that work on the inside. And I mean, I'm not talking about just in the hospitals. I'm talking about all over. I have lots of friends in high places. I mean, believe it or not, I've met the president. I know the president. Well, I don't know, but I know him and I've met him several times. I've been on calls with the president before. I've met Donald Trump before he was even president, even considered running for president. I know a lot of people all over. I'm very active in politics. I know things and I put myself in positions to know people like this for a reason, for things like this. So when I want to find out stuff, I can find out right from the horse's mouth. And again, politicians, I don't trust all politicians. There's a lot of them. And there are a lot of Republicans I don't trust. But there are people that I know that I do trust that would not steer me wrong, that work in these industries, that are giving me accurate information. And that's where I take a lot of my information from and spread it out. Now, I can't and will not give them names because I'm told not to give them names. A lot of times they tell me stuff that should not be telling me, but I bet you would like to know, but get the facts right. It's just we'll find. I'll find out what's what, and we'll do something. I'll see if I can get one of the scientists on one night. Let me see if I can get one of the. Let me see what I can do because I'm trying to get Steve Scalise on and Billy on one night, but I want to also I'm gonna see about getting a scientist on, and I'll let you guys know if I can line this up, and we'll see what we can do there. And then that way we can ask questions. We can we might have to move this from Facebook Live to like a Zoom type thing, where people would have to come on over to the Zoom and watch it. I don't know if I can broadcast it on Zoom and Facebook Live at the same time, but to make that happen, I'm going to work that out and see what I can do. But I mean, I know so far the facts are what they're telling us is not 100% truth. It's about 99% inaccuracy, and a lot of it every day is being proven wrong. You just don't hear it from the media. But you have people like me that a talk show. Who all has Zoom on here? If you do, comment that you have Zoom. Because I think we may move this to Zoom when we do that, where we can. I'll still do a Facebook Live, but we'll do the Zoom along with it. But about 3 weeks ago, we had more vents than we needed, and sent 50 to England. See, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, Barbara. You have that's what's happening there. And President Trump even said that we have more vents in this country than needed now because they're not as bad, and we're loaning them to other countries. See, that's completely inaccurate. That's not what he said. I listened to that whole conversation, Danielle, and that is not what Trump said. And he was actually talking about two conversations, and that is, Trump did not say he wants to inject people with insecticides. That's actually completely false. So wherever you got that, because first of all, what was stated was possibly in the whole conversation, what was meant is, and he even said it, we'll leave it to, because somebody brought up that possibly with the sunlight and disinfectants, not insecticides, that nothing was ever mentioned about insecticides. So that is actually a complete false statement, Danielle, to even say that. That's not accurate. So I can actually pull the video and that what Trump said. Insecticides never came out of his mouth. What was stated was, hey, if it takes, and it can happen, but we're going to leave it to the doctors. But you don't see the media saying that. You don't see the media saying that we're going to leave it to the doctors. It was something that was suggested. Trump took it and said, maybe that's something we could do, but we're going to leave that to the doctors. Immediately, all your libertards is what I call them, your never Trumpers, came out and started saying, oh, Trump said that we want to inject people with disinfectants. That's not what he said. Go back and watch the video. Watch the whole video. Go to the White House website or go to YouTube and watch the actual video where it was stated, and watch. That was never said, and it was completely taken out of context. Never said insecticides. And then what he said about that was, yes, trust me, if that's something that can help, and if it's something that can be safely done, where they can take like a disinfectant of some sort that could be used as a antibiotic type thing, and that's what he meant, then why not? Of course, Trump's not going to go take Clorox and say, let's inject there. But see, that's exactly what they did, took and ran with it. They took that statement and they ran with that. Well, now Trump is wanting you to put Clorox and shoot yourself, inject yourself with Clorox and Lysol. That's the biggest lie out of the pit of hell. That's completely false. And that is something where I will jump on when somebody states and takes something what he said. See, that a statement like that is how things get and run completely, because the word insecticide never came out of Trump's mouth. Here, let me pull that up. I'm gonna pull that video up real quick. It won't take long for the ones that are joining us, because Trump. Let's see. I'm gonna just pull it off of YouTube because it's easier to get off of YouTube. Turn this on. If this phone will cooperate with me and stop opening everything up but YouTube, it would actually work. So Trump on injections. Let's see. Here we go. 1 minute and 55. Let's see if this is
So
it.
if you give a dog an egg, you know how gentle it is. The thing with
in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
Let's see.
Right. And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets in the lungs and it.
Okay, stop. Let's listen to this again, because perfect. So, never word insecticide came out of his mouth. And he's talking to a doctor, Dr. Fauci, and saying, maybe we could do that. Maybe. Not let's do it and everybody start. So they took a lie. Let's go back and listen to it one more time.
And is there a way we can do something like that?
Yeah, let me go back a little bit.
By injection, right? And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute.
So what is he saying there is he sees that the disinfectants knocked it out. So maybe there's a way we could safely listen.
And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting.
You're going to have to use medical doctors to look at that. But let's listen to that again. I'll report that.
It does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see. But the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful. Steve, please.
All right. So you see how somebody takes something completely out of context? Now, I took the facts, right, exactly what Trump said, but then what they said was not what Trump said. Oh, he said insecticides. Trump, no. So now with Roundup. Now that's going to be, now that's what you're going to see people doing. Oh, Trump's going to want to put Roundup in. No, what he said was we're going to look at that. Maybe the doctors can look at that. Maybe we could take that and safely do this. He's talking to the doctors and the scientists. If there's a way, if it's big, if my aunt had testicles, she'd be my uncle. But people completely take something out of context. And I understand you understand, Barbara, but that's something that burns me up when somebody says something that's a blatant lie. That there is a blatant lie because Trump, and that's how things get out of context. That's how rumors get started. And then you start seeing all these videos of Trump wanting to, and then the media's running with this. Of something he never said. It's like they take two words, but they don't take the sentence before and the sentence after. They take those two words and they run. Inject, disinfect, and they completely ran with it. But you see what I did? I took the facts, took the truth of what he said, word for word. That's the key, people. Stop listening to the media. That right there is a proven point. Proven point. Trump never said we're going to go around and telling and encouraging people to disinfect, buy Clorox and shoot yourself up with Clorox. Trump never said that. That's for the doctors to determine. And if they can safely do that, if they could safely inject Clorox into people, but doctors and scientists figuring a way out to do it safely to get rid of this disease, you're darn right I would be for it. And I'm sure Trump or anybody else would be for it. But see, your leftist elitists wouldn't be because, see, this is something that can't keep carrying on. And that's why they took what he said out of context. They want to make this man look like an idiot out of everything he says. This man is has more intelligent than all the, let's put it like this. Donald Trump has more brains in his big toe than all the liberals put together. That's why, that's why he's the president of the United States. exactly. And I mean, I kind of seen that coming too. I seen that when the answer didn't get answered about where we were coming from, and then of course to make that statement about Trump wanting to inject us with insecticides, and telling people that is just, um, I seen that happening, and but it's the point. We're going to get people that do stuff like that and say stuff like that, and they're welcome to be here. But I mean, I'm going to correct them. I'm not going to let them spread fake information, or false information. I'm willing to listen to what they got to say. I'm willing to look into what they got to say. I'm willing to give them a voice because they have that right to have their voice. And it's they have a right to comment, but I mean, nobody has a right to give. Again, I've said this: the First Amendment does not protect you from doing something to harm others. So if you're giving false information to harm someone, like that statement was made to inflict harm on the president, that is not your First Amendment right, and I'm going to stop that and shut that down. Because you don't have a right to inflict harm. And that then when they inflict harm on the president of the United States, a patriot, a man that serves, and I'm calling him a patriot because this man has went through what no other president has ever went through. The blatant disrespect that this man has been put through for office. And I know people, conservatives, and I include myself, that did not like Obama, but Obama didn't even get 1/10 of the disrespect that Donald Trump has gotten. And I want to first admit that, hey, I disrespected Barack Obama because the man, first of all, stole an election. It had nothing to do with the color of his skin. It had everything to do with his policies and what he really is. He's not you want to see one of the biggest frauds? Go look into Barack Obama's history of where he really was born at. Go look at records. Go look at birth certificates. Go look at his birth certificate and look at birth certificates the way to look back when, and you'll see that's a fraud. You'll see it's a fraud. If Barack Obama is an American citizen, I'm a female. And I promise you, I'm not a female. I stand when I use the bathroom. It's just, but nobody has disrespected President Trump as much as any other president, as much as President Trump has been disrespected. This man has been so blatantly disrespected. They take what he says completely out of context, lies, turn around and he could say 20 words, they'll take 2 out of that 20 and turn it in and make it a lie. And it's not even what he said. Back to the conversation. Let's get back to. So, if there is a safe way to get rid of this virus, I'm all for it. And Clatina, I knew. Oh, but I get it now. Instead of Clayton, Clatina. But I knew I seen it coming, but I let it happen. I kind of defended it at first, but I'm not stupid. I seen it. I seen it coming. Um, and that's fine. I gave her her right. I gave her time. But when that blatant lie came out, that's when I shut that down. And of course, I don't think she's on here anymore because of that. But let's move on. So I know you are. So at the end of the day, guys, we have a way to open our country safely. There's a way we can safely move forward. And there's a way we can do this and keep this going. I promise you, and maybe I might be wrong. I'm not going to make a promise because I don't want to make a promise that I'm not 100% accurate. But I'm pretty sure that this virus is not going to be worse next time. It's not as bad as they claim. Now, I don't have scientific facts to prove it otherwise, and they really don't. They're just guessing. Half the stuff they're telling you is guessing. We think this virus is going to be worse. We think, meaning they're guessing. They don't know. Yeah, that and you get trolls and phishing in this kind of business. You do. And it happens from time to time, and you just got to deal with it. Yes, very well fishing what we had to say. And I had that feeling, but I invited her, and it's just, I don't even know how, I think she friend requested me, and I told her to join my show, or something happened. I think she friend requested me, and then it took point to where I sent her the invite, and then she asked me. It was definitely a phishing, because when I really actually looked at her profile, because before I actually accept these friend requests, which I'm going to go unfriend her after this, when I look at these friend requests, I usually go look at their profile to make sure, and I didn't see any real pictures. It was all just like pictures, but I don't know, just something told me to accept it, and I did. And this is what we got. But, yeah, but I'll definitely, I don't think she liked it too much when I stated that she was, when I said that was a bold-faced lie, a lie out of the pit of hell, because that's, we have now been on a little over 2 hours, guys. A very well possibility that could have been it. And that's fine. But you see, you really see what happened. I mean, even though, yes, I know. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to report that to Facebook as a fake profile. I'm going to block it and report it as a fake profile, because let Facebook, I doubt it they'll do anything, but I'll report it. Maybe if they get enough reports on it, then maybe it's very well possibility that could have been it. Because when I seen just when I was asking about what she does and wouldn't tell us what she does, but yet was very knowledgeable where she was getting that information from, would not give it to us. Well, I was going to Journey, and Journey shut down, so now I'm looking for a new church. Journey, the pastor, has actually left the church. He is going into the mission field. So we no longer have church Journey's a big, large church. Now, another church was taking over that church, but I don't know when or what's going to happen with that. But the pastor has left, and he is into the mission field. Went back into the mission field. So I'm looking for another church right now. I'm rocking, guys. I know I have my chair can rock a little bit. So we're more in a question and answer point here. Hey, Al, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Let's keep it clean. Al, give us your opinion of what's going on with the country. Al is actually, if you guys don't know, he's a good friend of mine, and a patriot, a freedom fighter. And if Al wants to make a statement about what's going on with the country, and I would love to. Yeah, they're not. Where Bell Chase did, another church took over. It's not. It's Journey is no longer. No, it's not Journey no more. It's I forget the name of the church that's took it over. It's not. Yeah, Hosanna's. Shut what? Shut what, Mona? But yeah, the pastor left to go to in a mission field, and so I was just reading comments, guys, here. So I mean, guys, yeah, it's just a different church. It's a different name. A total different church. One out of Metairie. I forget the name of the church that took it over. They got the. Yeah, I know. I got a friend that goes there too. Most probably the same friend. Don't want to mention her name. If it's the same her that my friend. Yes, she still goes there. But I'm actually looking for another church. I want something closer home. I visit a lot of churches, and I go to different churches on different Sundays. I meant shut, not. Well, you didn't say SHIT. You said shut. I don't know. I don't know what that's about. I know that. I know Pastor Lewis and his Pastor Lewis left to go in a mission field. I like Pastor Luis actually, and I liked that church. I really did. That was one of the churches I liked. But sometimes you like the minister, and when the minister leaves, then it's time to move on. But I went to Hosanna. That's not where I'm meant to be. I've tried to go back, but I'm looking for right now I've been going church. There are different churches, little Baptist churches that I've been having services. I've been going there. I go to different churches, and I'm looking. The issue is I don't want to go far. I don't want to have to drive 30, 40 minutes. I was going to Bridge City. I was the music leader over at not Hosanna. I'm saying Hosanna, looking at Hosanna. I was a music leader over at I forgot the name of the church in Bridge City. Give me a second. My brain is just, I can't even remember the name of the church. My friend, Sister Klein Peter. And then I was going to Bell Chase, all the way to Bell Chase. I was going to Anchor Hope Baptist, which wasn't great. I would like to just get up and drive 5 minutes to church and find a decent church around close. The problem is I've been to almost every church around here. And, some I agree with, some I don't agree with. Just, it's not I just gotta find, and I'm looking and searching, and when I know when I'm home, and you know, I went to another. I'm not going to mention the name of the church. This pastor, but went to this one church which was very close to my house. Um, Pastor told me that I told him I wanted to preach, and he asked, "Well, what Bible college I've been to?" And I said, "I don't need to go to Bible college to preach the word of God." "Well, if you don't have a Bible degree," I'm like, "Well, then I said, then obviously Jesus is not qualified to preach because Jesus didn't have a degree, according to what you're saying." And I never stepped foot back in that church again. But I'm not going to name the name of the church. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to discredit any church. So I don't want to name, but I'm looking, and I'm eventually it's gonna, the door's gonna open. I have a friend of mine that's wanting to open up a church, and he does right now online services because that's where he's starting, but he's looking for a building, and almost probably wind up going there. So that's why I'm not going to really find a home. When he gets a building and a place, then more than likely that's where I'm going to go. All right, to answer that question. So next thing is in Gretna Heritage Baptist is a good. Yeah, I grew up a Baptist. We were going to church 3 minutes from what, not my cup of tea. I now drive the Picayune. Resurrection Life, well worth the drive. I personally got saved in a Baptist church. I loved about. I believe in a lot of their teaching, but to me, and I'm not trying to knock a religion, but to me, the Baptist is just too dead for me. I don't feel that's where I'm wanted. Now, if I never know, God might put me in a Baptist, but I'm more of. I believe in a lot of the Baptist teachings, but more of I'm what they call a Baptist-costal. It's a joke from what Brother Archer used to call me. He used to call me a Baptist-costal because I would go to a Baptist church and Pentecostal church. On like Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would be in a Pentecostal church. So pretty much every night of the week, I was in church. On Sunday night, I was at one church. On Tuesday night, I went to another church. Wednesday night, I went to the Baptist church. Thursday night, I went to another church. Friday night, I was in a youth group and at a church. The only night I technically didn't go to church was a Saturday night. I pretty much in church just about every day of the week. But I went to several different, but my home church was a Baptist church at the time. It's just I visited during the week other churches, and that's when I did a lot of traveling to different churches to sing. I think Algiers Assembly System owner. Did Algiers Assembly have that? They had that service on Thursday nights, if I remember right. All right, Luis. LOL. She called. I don't. What are you talking about? I'm lost there, System owner. So back to let's get back to our conversation. We kind of got on the church subject. Let's get back to the conversation where we were earlier, guys. The part that we're coming to a point in our life in this country. It's getting dangerous. We're close. We're that close. I don't know if you can see it, depending on what camera, because I got two cameras here. It's getting that close. to where we will not have our freedoms, guys. Just the wrong move that people were doing. And there's so many conservatives out there that are falling into this trap, all in the name of health. Give me liberty or give me death. Guys, that means nothing will take my God-given rights away. That pastor in Baton Rouge, Central Louisiana, that did what he did. I may not agree 100% of what he says or teaching, but the governor trying to silence him is an overreach of power. Overstep, overreach. And as Christians, as American citizens, even if you don't believe in God, if you believe in the Constitution, which I hope you do believe in God, but if you are just a constitutional conservative, you should be outraged. Like I said, if this would have been a Muslim church or a Buddhist church, and they did the same exact thing, I would have been just as outraged. That don't mean I support and I believe in the Muslim religion or the Buddhist religion or anything like that. Yeah, I'm getting ready to end it in just a second. Sister Mona, hold off there a second. Not that I would. Thanks for joining us, Barbara. Not that I would. I believe and support, but it's still their right. Their God-given right. Guys, I know we've been on for 2.5 hours tonight. We went long. I'm glad we had a lot of people that participated tonight. Yeah, Sister Mona, we should all be thankful for Donald Trump as our president. We should be so dewey if it was anyone else. I didn't catch that. There was a typo in there. But I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We had a good chat tonight. We'll see you guys back tomorrow night, and I'll let you guys know during the day what's going to be the conversation. Yes, it is getting late. We all have to get up early. So good night, guys. For all my chitter chatters and chatterbugs, don't forget, tomorrow night, grab your drink and come join us right back here at 8 o'clock tonight. Good night. Sister Mona, call me.